Have you ever had a family member pass away that you did not personally know well? For me, my maternal grandmother was someone that I could never make a connection with as she had dementia and soon lost the ability to speak when I was born. But that does not mean I cannot learn from other family members about who she was. Today, we will be celebrating the life of my grandmother, Juanita Agunas. I'll be describing who she was and the circumstances of her passing. Juanita Agunas was born on October 16, 1932, to Basilio and Sarapia Herrera in Elmore Ranch, which is a town in Brawley, California. She was the second youngest of six siblings, and during her childhood, she lived on a ranch and helped raise multiple animals there. One night, when she was a teenager, there was a light shining on her. Her neighbor, named Alfredo Agunas, saw her, and the two soon fell in love. Juanita eventually got married to Alfredo Agunas on June 8, 1963, and this is their wedding photo. Once they were married, my grandma and grandpa moved to live in an apartment complex in El Centro, California. The November of that year, Juanita gave birth to my mom. She then gave birth to three more children, Richard in 1966, Tommy in 1970, and lastly, Danny in 1973. My grandma was a stay-at-home mom. She took good care of her four children and was said to have made sure they had everything they needed. She was said to be a lot of fun as she made everyone laugh. In addition, she loved to dance and sing Mexican folk song. My mom mentioned how Juanita had a beautiful singing voice. When my mom's fans used to come over, my grandma was well liked by many of them. Many of my mom's friends would come over to the apartment to chat with my grandma, and during that time, she always had a smile for everyone. It was easy to talk to. My grandma would then go be my grandma would then be known as the neighborhood mom. However, things would take a turn in 1999. One night in 1999, she had a stroke and was taken to the ER. A year later, she was diagnosed with dementia. During the early stages, my grandma was still able to talk. One of the things she often asked of my mom was, "Where is the baby?" as my mom was pregnant during the time with me. After I was born, my grandma lost the ability to speak and could only lay in her bed. She was taken in and out of hospitals for multiple years. Despite this, my parents and I still managed to visit my grandma 3 to 4 times a year. Then, one, on August 8th, 2015, grandma went to the hospital as she had pneumonia. She was in the hospital for Brawley for a week and then was taken to a San Diego hospital to treat the pneumonia. During her stay, the nurses called my mother and my grandfather to say there needed to be a family meeting. They offered my mother and grandfather the option to put a tube in her throat to help her breathe until she dies or to let her pass away. It was a tough decision for my grandfather as he initially wanted to let her live longer. However, both my mom and grandfather decided that it would be better if she passed. August 30th of that year was the last day I saw her. She was sleeping during that time, and I said my final farewells. On August 31st, my mom, dad, grandfather, and Danny went to the hospital for one last visit. During that visit, they told her stories and played her favorite music in the background. At 1 p.m., my grandfather told the nurses that he was ready, and the nurses took grandma off the ventilators. At around 2 o'clock, she took her last breath and passed away. I know now that she's in a better place. Today, I told you all about who my grandma, Juanita Agunas, was and how she passed away. My grandma was a wonderful mother who was known for being friendly to everyone. Dementia prevented her from communicating and effectively crippled her. Her dementia may have prevented me from being able to connect with her on a personal level. However, there's one thing that dementia didn't take away. Dementia did not take the memories of her family that they have of her. Thank you for listening.